Who's up for a cool-looking Gestalt faction made up of alien cyborgs? Many Keiron units are actually typed both mechanical and biological. The basic concepts of the Keiron are unlike most other factions. 1. There are no traditional production facilities, and 2. While supply still exists as a concept, there are no traditional supply structures either. Instead, all units are materialized within range of the Citadel, the Keiron's mineral receptacle, their nexus if you will. Units can be materialized very quickly, similar to a Protoss warp gate, only the effect applies to every single available unit the Keiron has, including air and endgame units. So yeah, if you have the money, near instant army. But the catch is, you can only materialize in a unit if you have a charge for that unit built up and stored. So you need to also shape in buildings that generate charges for the units you'll eventually want to materialize to add to your army. Each building stores a max number of charges, after which it will stop generating. So be sure to materialize in units regularly to clear space, or else build more charge generating structures so you can stash a healthy supply of charges for emergencies. For example, the Keiron's edifice is a structure that generates charges for the units called the Volts and Pariahs. One edifice can hold up to 3 charges. The first charge takes 22 seconds to generate, and the second and third charges generate more slowly. If all 3 charges are already stored up, you can shape in 3 volts very quickly, or 3 pariahs, or 1 of each and save that third charge for later. If you make 2 edifices, you will soon have 6 charges. The neat part is every charge generating structure simultaneously grants supply to the Keiron. For example, making that edifice gets you 6 supply. So there's no need to build depots or pylons or other weird things that exist solely to drain your money and attention. But because of this convenient synergy, the charge generators often cost more than the production facilities of other factions. And that's the single biggest concept for the Keiron to get you up and running, materializing, shaping, and generating charges. Now here's some other cool stuff that it really helps to know. The Keiron has a different regeneration mechanic than you may be used to. A Keiron unit's life naturally heals at the same rate of a Zerg. Nice, but that's nothing. The Keiron unit's shields regenerate even faster than the shields of a Protoss. But, importantly, all shield regeneration stops immediately and permanently whenever the Keiron unit is attacked. The only way to restart the shield regeneration again is to return the unit into the radius of a citadel. Or, if you're out in the field, you can use a unit called the Ward to cast a spell called Restitution. That will also re-kickstart the regeneration of Keiron shields. So that's why you often see Keiron players hustling their units back to the nearest citadel. Next, the Keiron has an economy boosting method. It's called Energize. It makes those mice-like harvesters called converters mine gas and minerals faster. But here's the thing. It also pumps up the shield armor of all units in range, not just the harvesters, and increases their regeneration rates too. It even increases their movement speed. So if your citadel is ever under attack, Energize is also there for defense. But it's not free like for some other factions. You have to pay for Energize at each citadel. It costs 150 minerals to set it up, and you find the button for that here. Once it's set up, it just costs 50 energy each time you use it. Speaking of defense, if you haven't seen the Aegis yet, I can't wait to show you. Yeah, that's right. An instant 1000 hit point force field that kicks all enemies outside of it. You can reinforce your base by materializing units inside of the force field's protection. And yes, your Keiron units can shoot through the shield to blast enemies outside trying to bring down the force field. It's a one-way shield. You can only make a single Aegis in the game, but you can teleport it around from citadel to citadel at a cost of energy. Be careful with that energy though, you need that to generate the force field. The Aegis also doubles as a deadly static defense cannon, and that part does not cost energy. Speaking of cool static defense, have you heard about the Oculus? Once you build this turret-like structure, you can use it to cast Reveal, throwing a permanent field of vision within a short radius far across the map. You can even reposition the Reveal pool as needed, though there is a cooldown if you reposition. Your opponents will absolutely hate it, because the only way to get rid of the Reveal is to find the Oculus that's actually casting the pool and destroy it. So be ready for that incoming counterattack. Oh, and the turret itself is also a detector. And speaking of detection, the Keiron have two other ways to detect cloak. There's a mid to late game spellcaster unit called the Gyre, which provides permanent detection. It also has a cool alien abduction attack. And then there's a spellcaster ground unit called the Crux with a timed life detection spell called Beholder, which works just fine in a pinch. All of the Keiron's detection methods, though, have limitations. So when facing an opponent who places emphasis on cloaking units, you will probably need a grab bag of multiple detection options to keep yourself truly safe. Safe? Is there such a thing in Starcraft? I'm gonna say no. Also funky is that all of the Keiron's buildings that deal with air are actually air structures themselves, and they float. This means you can actually build them over top of ground structures, which opens up all sorts of strategic possibilities. The rest of the cool stuff is found in the units themselves. A mystical dropship that can rescue units by teleporting them back inside it at great range. A giant mechanical bug that acts like a carrier on the ground, building tiny units that shoot and shred enemy light types. A robotic unit that attacks with insane range, but because of the boomerang nature of its attack, the farther it shoots, the slower its rate of fire becomes, lowering its DPS. An air-to-ground unit that also leaves invisible spy cameras to grant vision of your opponent's base, and so much more, but I'll leave it to you to discover. That should be enough to get you started. Go test drive the Keiron today. I know I envy you because I wish I could play this again for the first time. If you're unsure how to set up the Scion Custom Races mod, we do have a 2-minute tutorial for that as well. Link in the description. So from my base to yours, Zugzwang out.